Welcome and happy Monday, Witch Naima here with the Arrogant Witch YouTube show. And today's topic is fear of white money. What? Fear of white money. So I am here. I didn't prepare my notes. So I live in multiple worlds. So sometimes I need notes to help me. So I am here to help magical melanin witches come out of hiding and into full power so they can monetize the work that's in their DNA and live bone deep fulfillment. If you are here every time I'm live, look, or if you just dig the topic and you want more magical melanin witches to see this, go ahead and click the like button, click the subscribe or the notification bell so that you get an email and or a phone. Your phone gets pinged when I go live. So before I get into the topic, doors opened today. Yes, doors opened today to the Arrogant Witch community, and details went to my email subscriber community. Oh, baby, it was a night. You may be able to tell. It was quite a night. Wow, it was quite a night. It was quite a night. Wow. So within half hour after this video, I will place, what will I place? Oh, if you're not already on my email subscriber community list, oh my Lord. There will be a link placed beneath this video for you to join my email subscriber list because details will be going out again tomorrow. All right, so there's that. All right, so fear of white money. So what is this? What is this about? So this is about, ultimately, it's about restoring your psyche back to rightness. Restoring your psyche back to rightness. So about 2 years ago, I offered a course called 5-Figure Clients for Melanin Messengers. It was the first time that I had ever deliberately marketed to Black people. Prior to that, I just marketed because as far as I was concerned, I'm Black. So if a Black person looks at me and wants to hire me, they will hire me. Very few Black people, very few Black people hired me. And there's a whole, I can get into a whole what I learned when I started getting deliberate about talking to Black people. And part of why today's topic is what it is. During this course, and in the 2 years since leading a course, because it was a live course, it wasn't a DIY. It was like I was involved in the course, coaching and like intimately involved. What I didn't know that I learned is that there is this unconscious unwillingness to lead white people, to receive large amounts of money from white people, to be considered the go-to, the respected, teacher, healer, etc. to white people. Now, as I said in the video that I shared on Instagram to promote being here today, we don't walk around actually thinking this. It's a very unconscious thought, okay? I only found out because of leading this course and talking to Magical Melanin Witches and seeing the results that we produce in our business, particularly those of us who are actually in business and selling our services, whatever those services are. When we talk like we're in our marketing, we talk like we're talking to our sister. Right? We talk like this is like a family business and sis, and like this is for my sisters and my family and my, and that's fine. And what that also reflects is that that's who you expect to buy from you. Now, is that the only group of people that you're open to? Now, if that's true, then okay, fine. You can go about the way you market and the way you talk and right, what you expect, great. If that's a conscious choice, great. But I know from working with majority white clients over my entire career as a transformational leader and being in intimate conversation with other white women and just watching, you know, just so many conversations I've had over the years, white people actually want to buy from you. They actually want your help. They actually see, like, they recognize, especially when you recognize, like they already see you. Like a lot of Black people think that white people just see us as other. I mean, like, yeah, of course you have those white people. Of course, right? Then you have the white people who know that you have a distinct medicine. And they are the ones who are much more likely to quickly pay you $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 for whatever your transformational package is. So I'm talking about, like, the money is great, of course, like the money is great. But what I would like to get at today, right? Because the money becomes a consequence of what I'm talking today. Another thing I learned in teaching this course is that people get so excited about the money, like, the 5-figure package. First of all, do you even know what a 5-figure package is? Like, it's like I took things for granted. I thought people knew things, and like people don't actually know what a 5-figure package is. They just got excited just to hear that. So 5 figures is between $10,000 and $99,999. So if you already knew that, okay. This is for those who may not know. All right. And so let me back it up. Fear of white money and what's unconsciously going on. This is what it was a 12-week course, I think. And one of the weeks was titled A Corruption of the Psyche. Corruption of the psyche. So, and this is one of the things that we're going to go into heavily inside of the Arrogant Witch community, because everything comes out from that. Like, no matter what we try to put on top of it, if your psyche is not addressed at a deep, visceral level that you feel in your body, that you engage with actively, especially the purpose of the community is so you're not like, DIY courses are great, but do you know studies show that only between 4 and 15% actually, between 4 and 15%, this might even be less now, but between 4 and 15% of people who buy do-it-yourself courses actually complete them? Which is why I've never, like, the person who sells it wins, because, like, gosh, you get 200 people to buy a $500 course. That's a nice chunk of cash. And most of them are never going to finish it. And then there's people who don't even start it, because there's power, there's alchemy in togetherness and speaking out of your actual, okay, and having sensations in your body because you're interacting with another human being around a tender subject, like what's going on in your psyche. So the fear of white money, I like to use this one particular woman who came to mind as I was thinking about being here with you today. She used to show up to videos that I was doing. I don't know, it was like a year ago or something like that. And the topic was fear of white money. And she was an accountant, I think, in the South. She was a Southern woman. And she talked about feeling overwhelmed by her white clients, trusting her so much, respecting her so much, so eager and willing to pay her in the way that they were, okay? And it's one of those nuances that doesn't get talked about amongst Black people, particularly Magical Melanin Witches. The nuances that affect who we allow ourselves to be. Like these are the, I don't know her actual name, but there's a woman who interacts with me a lot on email and social media. And she talked about wanting to get into the subtleties of energy. She said, I want to really learn how to work with myself and the subtleties of energy, and the subtleties, like the little things that make a tremendous difference. And this nuance right here of how you perceive yourself. I mean, and like the topic of it may sound like, oh, that's not nuances, but when you start getting down into the root of it, there's a nuance. Because how many of you have said to yourself, I'm not willing to accept big money from white people? Like, no, we don't say that to ourselves. I'm unwilling to lead white people. I'm unwilling to be the go-to guide, the guru, the healer, the well-respected healer of groups of white people. Okay. We don't consciously think that kind of stuff. We just stay away. We don't even really pay attention. We just sort of stay with Black people and talk to sister, girl, and right. And then, so that's that, right? And so what I have experienced, and this is part of the reason why I'm just so convinced that this has been my reality, so then I can bring it here and talk and help and teach and lead and show. I wish I had a picture to share right now. So remember I talked about that when I wanted to do 50,000 in a month to blow my mind, and I ended up doing 65,000. The woman who hired me was a white woman. I want to get why this is important, why I'm sharing this. She was a white woman from the Midwest. Okay. A white woman from the Midwest. Okay. She was over 50. I know that. She was over 50. She may have been like 56 or something. I can't remember. She was over 50. My hair, I wasn't wearing wigs at the time. My hair was twisted, coiled, twisted up like that. That's how my hair looked. She found me through my radio show that at the time was called Pussy Power Radio. Okay, just consider all these factors. I was watching a video this past weekend of her, because we did a like a liberation video shoot for her at the Ritz-Carlton in Miami. And in one of the videos, she said, when I listened to Naima talk about sexual trauma in such a fearless way, I knew I had to work with her. Those were her words verbatim. Here's this dark-skinned Black chick on the internet with twisted up natural hair, right? Not famous or popular at all, living in a trash ass 2-bedroom apartment in Miami. Okay. And this white woman invested first $10,000 and then $65,000. And then she actually went on to invest more after that, because there were more offerings. And she's not the only one who invested 5 figures, 6 figures to work with me. Okay. Why am I sharing these kind of details? What we unconsciously think, and consciously too, is that we're not qualified to lead and receive large amounts of money or expect large amounts of money from people who are not Black. They don't even have to be white. They could be Indian, Middle Eastern, whatever. I'm just saying white because that's been my experience. And I know that Black-white thing is in the Black psyche and the white psyche. Everybody's goddamn psyche so deep. All right. You can be an average looking Black woman with your hair twisted up. Okay? Because I was not wearing makeup at the time, baby. I was not wearing makeup at the time. I was not even in the best place as far as my emotional state. So I'm sharing this with you to get you to begin to consider who you allow yourself and who you expect to become a client. Like really, and that's why Arrogant Witch exists. Like there's so many why Arrogant Witch exists, right? But the reason why I call it difficult work is because there's so much truth telling that has to be told, and so much feeling that hurts, that's uncomfortable, and then action that must be taken so you can rewire the reality that you currently hold in your system. You see? So I'm sharing this because I think, well, I know also from my experience that Black women typically just watch me. They don't lean in. They just watch. A lot of women are awed or stunned by me, Black and otherwise. And because I carry myself like this now, because I look like a walking god, right? That somehow they see a separation between us. Like, wow, like she is extraordinary. Look how articulate she is. Look how amazing. And like, look at this goddess. That is not me. I cannot be that. Good. Because then now you can be you. Because you is who your clients are buying, not me. They're buying you. And so how does one get to start changing this deep shit? This shit is deep, yeah. Like, fuck. Like if your mind is kind of like, shit, what? White folk beating down my door to pay me $20,000. What? What am I even gonna do for 20,000? Me? Like how? Like what? Like oh, Camille, hey, 9 to see. That's why I say it could be even lower. DIY. But here's the thing. They're so popular because you can get fucking rich selling courses, but people aren't getting results. Right? But the person selling it wins. Or like, if I don't care about you getting results, I can sell $100 course to 1,000 people. Do the math. You know what I'm saying? And I could just, I'm not saying I'll never do that. I'm just saying I can't get with that right now because we got to get like dirty. We got to get our hands in there. Yeah. So how does one begin to shift the core level, the level that becomes your natural way and not any kind of fake forcing kind of thing? Well, first of all, I highly recommend that you come inside the Arrogant Witch community. Doors open today. And if you're on the email list, just go check your email. If you're on the email list and you haven't received the email, maybe you should check your spam. Okay. And then if you're not on the email list, like I said, there will be a link beneath this video after I hang up within about half an hour. And I recommend that you use the link that lets you sign up for the 9-page report that's called 5 Bad Ways to Begin Commanding Larger Money as a Magical Melanin Witch. When you subscribe, you'll be on the email list and you'll receive details tomorrow when they go out. Okay, so that's the first thing I recommend because you get to be inside of a structured container with structured alchemical practice to help you start to transform at a core and permanent level. Okay. So then what else can you do? I recommended some books last week, so I'm going to go back to that too, because that's something that you can do very easily today from home. And the one book that helps to start to clear out on a mental level, okay, is Working with the Law. Okay, Working with the Law and the Science of Getting Rich. Working with the Law and Science of Getting Rich. So both of those books deal with universal intelligence and universal knowledge as it relates to a human being connecting with infinite source. Okay. Because what I found in my transforming my relationship with money is that when I deal in truth, okay, and law, okay, laws that govern the way the planet works, no matter what your race is, no matter what class you come from, right, all these man-made things. When you deal in universal truth and the laws that govern things like cause and effect, like depositing the value into people's lives, like polarities, like balance, like feminine, like gender, right? All those laws, right, that govern the universe. When you deal in that and start to make that a habit, right? That's why I said read the books like your life depends on it. When you deal in that, you start detaching from the binds of race and how that corrupts the psyche. You start to disconnect from the binds of, well, I'm a Black woman, and it's unconscious. Remember that. Some of it is conscious, a lot of it is unconscious, and the unconscious is what has the most power, okay? You start detaching from the grips of all the things that keep you in this, like I mean, I even feel, as I'm even, right, it's so constricting in your reality and what you allow yourself to have and who you end up being able to help, because your wisdom, your medicine, what you have to offer is for so many people who don't look like you. It's for so many people who don't look like you. But if you're thinking on a subconscious level is that I'm for Black women only. And like I said, if that is your desire and that's conscious choice, that's different, right? Go for it. But if you have been noticing within yourself, or you are identifying it now as you're listening to me talk, that yeah, I would totally be open if I actually believed these people would buy. If I actually believed what, and listen, I know these big numbers that can be overwhelming. Start at 1,000, 5, 3,000, 2,000. Start there, okay? And engage in the wealth consciousness work that I talked about last week. Go back and watch. I can't remember what video it was, but I recommended some wealth consciousness books. And another thing I recommend you do is go to Facebook and look for business groups, feminine business, women entrepreneurs, boss ladies. Like, look for these kind of groups on Facebook or wherever folks gather online. Facebook is a good one. LinkedIn, and just start networking with people socially in there. See how you feel going in there, okay? And just responding to things, creating your own posts to start a conversation. How you feel in there, how people respond to you. Do you see yourself being a leader in that group, right? Like presenting yourself as the leader you are, like how you, right? Start socializing, because when I first came into the transformation space in 2011, I was in the San Francisco Bay Area. And so when I started to look around for networking, that's all that was around me was white groups. Right, when I was searching like Meetup, which is another great place, because people offer virtual gatherings on Meetup too, by the way. So when I would go to places like meetup.com, and I would go to Facebook, and where else should I go? Oh, eventbrite.com, and just look up like business events, feminine goddess events, etc. that's what was available. And I would go into these groups and I would oftentimes be the only Black woman. And, oh God, okay, this is powerful right here. And this is, I'm telling you, this is why you want to become a force of nature and an anomaly and do things that most Black women, most magical melanin witches will never do. Come inside and stay inside the arrogant witch community. So I led a like a workshop or something in Oakland, California, some years ago. There's a lot here. Years ago, this is like 2012, maybe something like that. And it was half and half. It was like half white, half Black people. And this white woman ended up buying a bundle of coaching calls from me. That's what I remember. She was an older white woman too. And during one of our coaching calls, she started sharing with me this difference that Black women have. That's it. She couldn't really, she was like, there's just this difference. There's just this thing that Black women have. There's just this. And I already was thinking this myself. And this is the first time that I'd heard a white woman say it. I remember thinking, oh my God, they know. I had never really like consciously thought about it. But, okay, wow, so they know. So that contributed to my own private thoughts that I had, that there's a distinction of a refinement, a medicine that we have that they don't have, okay? And so as I started to grow my business, and naturally all these white people started to come to me. It was a very natural thing. I was not marketing to white people. I was being myself, marketing, and white people are who would show up at my door, okay? As I started to work more intimately, because as I started to charge more, I started to work more intimately with clients, like full VIP days. Clients would fly to, I had clients fly to Italy to work with me. I had clients fly to Paris to work with me. I was in the States and I would have clients fly, moving around the States. Different clients would come to the state for us to work together. And so as I started to work more intimately with white women, and start to really step into my power and allow myself to really lead without all the, ooh, I'm Black, they're white, being worried about microaggressions. That's a huge ass distraction, to be like so concerned about microaggressions and concerned about if she sees you as valuable, if she just sees you as the help. Yeah, you just paid her, she just paid you $20,000. She sees you as the guy who's going to help her, okay? Or 3,000 or 5,000 or whatever you charge, okay? But as I started to work more intimately with white women and be in softer spaces, softer emotional spaces with white women, and it really allowed myself to be, right? Just be, right? Be available to listen, be available to serve, really be present, etc. There was this natural awareness that I am the itness. Did you catch that? That you are the itness. It's just natural. When folks are looking at you on the internet, or when folks get beyond all the knee-jerk race stuff and all the division and ugliness that gets perpetuated on the internet to keep people right, and then a person has a chance to look at you, do videos on the internet or whatever it is that you do, and really get a chance to see you and not you just being a Black woman, okay? Because are you, is that all you are, as a Black woman? Aren't you more as a magical melanin witch? Isn't your medicine profound? Like, can we look at the multi-dimensions of this, please? Okay. And so what I learned, having so many intimate relationships with white women who But we're just dealing in power. We're dealing in being a woman. We're dealing in being in power. We're dealing in transforming. We're dealing in coming into power with money. And the sensitivity of these subjects and the requirement to go into matters of the heart, the requirement to go into matters of the pussy, the requirement to go into matters of the psyche, if you're really going to help somebody change in a core, permanent, powerful way and not some surface level 3 sessions kind of way, right? Natural things, like just a naturalness starts to come up in the relationship, just a natural, you know? And what I know, right, that is so true for those of us who know who we are. Like, you got to know who you are, right? For this stuff to work, is that when you take your place, you take your place as a magical melanin witch, fully. That's what I talk about, full power. You take your place fully. All people, white, black, and otherwise, bow down to you naturally. There's no force involved. There's no pretending. There's no trying to be something that you're not. There's no having to demand respect. Like, all of those are indicators that you are not in power. No faking, no trying. Trying is failing. Like, you don't try. Don't try. Decide, and you do. You don't try. Try. I'm gonna try. I'll try. When somebody tells you you're gonna try, you need somebody to do something. They say they're gonna try. What do you hear? Yeah, that ain't gonna work. So I was having a conversation with an amazing magical melanin witch, and when I said this to her, she got it instantly. She was just like, yes, I know. When you, and I said to her, I said, when we get in line all the way, when we get in line all the way, not none of this. I'm inside of this travel group on Facebook, and somebody posted something on Juneteenth about white folks want to do this and don't want to take responsibility for this and all of that and all of that. And it was like 12 comments of people being like, say it again. And yeah, they don't want to, right? And here I come, my shit starting ass was like, is anybody in this comment section doing anything hard and long-term to create new systems that will make white folks' systems obsolete? All I see is whining here. They get away with this shit because we allow it. Shut the fuck up. Then I say, yeah, I got time today. Shit starter. They deleted my comment. Shut up. You not in line. Don't talk to me about what white folks doing and what are you doing? They get away with that shit because we allow that shit. As soon as Black people start really shaking up dirt, shit starts changing. But an overwhelming number of us are not in line. And I'm not even about to start getting into, I'm not gonna go there. Now is not the time. But the way I deal with this constant, first of all, I've unfollowed so many pages, and I've unfollowed over 100 people on Instagram in the last month. So I'm just like, what is this? Like, I'm tired of this white people this, white people that. You so concerned with white people. God, what are you? Right? First of all, delete, welcome, Michelle, unblock, unfollow, but then also, that don't apply to me. How about that? That don't apply to me. Like, what world will you live in? I think I'm done here. Would you guys like me to, is there anything else I can expound upon or any questions I can answer? Anybody? This stuff is really simple to me, and you sharing what you're dealing with helps me because I live in a different world, which has been created by me over time, which is what I encourage you to do, to create your own world, your own internal world. And also because I've been in the game for a while, sometimes it's just certain things I don't think about anymore, or I just take for granted. So when people say things like, I'm like, right, yes, thank you for reminding me, you know? Or I'm like, oh yes, I have something I can contribute about that, you know? So I think, let me check my notes, and then if there's nothing else, I'm out of here. Yeah. I have a topic here that I think I'm going to do called Let Yourself Be Greedy. Let yourself be greedy. Let yourself be greedy. Let yourself be greedy. What do I mean? Oh my God. I'm so glad you found it too, Tamika, and I look forward to meeting you. Have you got your ticket? When am I meeting you, or what's happening? Because I've seen your name. All right, so that's it. I'm out of here. Monday, I'm here every Monday, and if I get the strike to be here during the week, I will. But otherwise, if I don't see you this week, I will be back here Monday next week at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you subscribe and like the video, subscribe and all that good stuff. And I will see you next week. Thank you for being here.